Is the only living double amputee calf wearing prosthetics in the world. If it wasn't for me, he would have been doomed to the veal man. In the last 2 years, my bills on Hero are pushing the $100,000 mark. I've done 6 to 8 funding pages on the internet to help out with Hero's cost. So in total of all the donations, we filed taxes on $34,000 plus. But the haters have accused me of not being a nonprofit, of stealing all of Hero's money. He's my cash cow. I am being cyberbullied and cyber-stalked. They do all their damage on Facebook, and then they file rip-off reports. As soon as I post something online, it is on their hate page within 30 seconds. They troll my page constantly. They're going to persevere and stay after me. The haters have absolutely scared me to death. I've had a steak with a knife sent to me. They're terrorizing me. The haters have said that. They are not going away until I'm dead.
Okay. Well, Kitty, why did these people start picking on you?
They think I'm tormenting Hero. They know more than the professionals that he has. That they're armchair vets is what they are.
You say that you believe that because this got so much press and so much notoriety that they thought that you had become a media whore and that you were getting millions of dollars flowing in and that you were getting big rich and big famous and that that's all you cared about. And they resented that.
I can't make heads or tails. They're psychopaths. I can't make anything sense out of anything they do.
Well, Kitty hasn't met any of her so-called haters in person. Today will be the first time that they ever come face to face. Well, they sent a message to us on home video calling themselves, quote, the purveyors of truth. Take a look.
I love him to death. I've raised him. It's like I'm his mom. He was a baby when I got him.
Kitty is a fraud. Kitty has emotionally blackmailed her donors by insinuating that something horrible will happen to Hero or her other animals if she doesn't get more donations. I think it's no better than reaching your hand into my pocket and stealing my money. It is exactly the same thing. It's theft.
I feel betrayed by this woman. I have donated roughly $7,100 in cash and materials to Kitty's rescue funds. For months, she claimed to be a nonprofit, even though she wasn't. I even ran a fundraiser for one of Kitty's dogs, Haystack, and found out later that her husband put a bullet in his head.
Kitty got 2 dogs, Haystack and Bella. She took donations for those dogs to pick them up from a shelter. They were supposed to have forever homes. The people that donated money loved those dogs, and she cold-heartedly had them shot in the head, ordered it like an executioner.
Kitty has called myself and others haters, trolls, scumbags, Satan's imps, and members of an international organized crime ring. We most definitely are none of those things. We are purveyors of truth. We are putting out the truth about Kitty and her scamming ways.
She needs to stop the scams, stop stealing from people, and stop taking animals that she can't care for.
Enough is enough. Kitty needs to be stopped today.
Well, Kitty, here they are. What do you want to say to these folks?
I think you guys are obsessed. We've been cleared by every legal entity in my state. You have hounded us. You have cost me thousands of dollars. Robert, you were my confidant.
Kitty, you lied to everybody. You were not a 501c3 ever. You never even filed with the state. You never filed with IRS. You never filed with anybody.
Okay, Dr. Phil will handle that because he knows better.
Let me sort through this and find out. And maybe I need to identify my position here because I am a devout animal lover. I give a lot of money to animal organizations every year. This is something that I'm very passionate about. I want to look at the group's allegations against Kitty. Number one, they say that she lies about being a nonprofit. You say that I have all the information about this, and I'll make that very clear. You're not a nonprofit.
No.
You said you were a nonprofit. You were not a nonprofit. You've never been a nonprofit. You are not a nonprofit now.
I can explain that.
You said, I know the facts. You're right, I do. And you are not a nonprofit,
Absolutely.
And you have led people to believe that you are.
When I got the paperwork, I assumed that I was. When I got everything from the state of Virginia, it said, if you read the paperwork that came, it says I'm a 501. I don't know the lingo. I had never been around anything nonprofit. So
you understand now that you
absolutely.
made statements that were not true.
Yes, and I addressed them on my page, and they did not accept that.
They say that you treat animals poorly. But what do you mean by that?
Well, we have pictures from the old landlord of what the animals were living in, their own filth, their own urine, their own feces.
Not where she is now, but a place that she had been before.
Correct.
Okay? And you felt like it was substandard, unsanitary for the animals.
Yes.
Whatever,
Did
lady.
you shoot 2 dogs in the head?
I did not shoot him.
Did you
and
cause 2 dogs to be shot?
I
in the
asked my
head?
husband to after they had attacked and killed 3
After
animals.
24 hours after the
I
incident.
thought about it, yes. Here, let me finish.
You
my
had a contract to return
And
them
I called
to
her
the
and she said,
shelter.
your dog, it's your problem and you can deal with it. And the other one was not rescued from a shelter. Haystack came from somebody locally in my community.
So that makes it okay to shoot
I
them in the
didn't
head
say it.
and bury them in the backyard like
Okay,
trash.
these are the 2
Those
dogs
2
here.
dogs,
Yes.
We
Haystack
have,
and Bella, they have names and faces, and you had your husband shoot them and bury them in the backyard like trash.
If you guys
because
hadn't have
you were
been
in such
messing
a
with
rush.
this and costing us so much money,
Okay.
I'd have had the money to take him
Okay,
to the vet.
how did you go to Texas and buy a $2.5 million ranch, Kitty?
I haven't bought it.
Oh,
That's
really?
what you said.
That's
I
what
put-
you said.
It's money in escrow, yes.
Yes, so you couldn't afford to feed those dogs.
I need to find out why somebody would shoot
If they'd let
2
me
dogs
explain.
in the head. I'm going to let you explain
Thank
right after
you.
the break.
I've had people help me with my electric bill. I've had friends and family bring me groceries. One person paid my mortgage. I've had probably over $100,000 given to me from friends, family as gifts.
And later, maybe you're in over your head.
No, I'm not. I'm stressed out.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I have dreams about mass killings.
Could her son
The terrorists seem like heroes to him.
take innocent lives?
He claims that he wants to take lives so people will feel his pain.
Once you kill that first person, the rest would not be hard at all.
Authorities arrest him and stop the interview.
The system is walking all over him. This is what will push my son over.
All-new Dr. Phil. That's tomorrow.
Kitty gets animals that have already been rescued from other shelters. None of the animals that she has taken in have been adopted out to forever homes.
I have probably 15 of the cats that I would say are my personal animals that I won't let them be adopted for certain reasons. Come on. I have no dogs that are up for adoption right now.
She continually uses these animals to ask for donations and supplies and attention.
I don't give away free animals because I feel if you expect a free animal, you can't afford the animal to start with.
In 2013, Kitty rescued a calf named Hero after he was found abandoned in a frozen field with severely frostbitten back legs that needed to be amputated. Now, she convinced a group of generous vets to build him 2 rear prosthetic limbs. And together, Kitty and Calf made international news when he took his first steps with his new legs. Kitty says that walk went viral, and the donations for Hero and her animal rescues started to pour in. Robert says he was drawn to Hero's story, so he donated approximately $7,000 to Kitty's cause. But since meeting Ann and Debbie, he now says Kitty is just a scam artist.
Ann needs psychiatric help. That woman is psychotically evil. Debbie is in stirring the pot if there's drama, and Robert drank their Kool-Aid. They think that they are the donation police, and if they don't like what you do, then you're a fraud. See, they saw the media and they thought I was rolling in money.
Martin is attempting to raise enough money within the next 3 weeks.
I've had probably over $100,000 given to me from friends, family as gifts. I've had people help me with my electric bill. I've had friends and family bring me groceries. One person paid my mortgage. The largest I was given was $8,000. In their delusional mind, I was making millions, which didn't happen, and they wanted to get the donations going to their friends. Now, because of all the haters that have accused me of misappropriating funds, I chose not to take in cash donations. I have to be a little more creative of how I get my animals funded.
You say you're not making millions of dollars from these animals.
I'm in debt.
You're in debt, can't make ends meet.
I can't make ends meet. It's week to week.
Now let's talk about these 2 dogs, because as I say, I'm an animal lover. I have been all my life. I have a dog now, Maggie, that was a rescue that I adopted here. This is Maggie. Adopted her at 8 weeks old. She's now 9. And I just have tried to put myself in a position of deciding what would have to happen that I would go out in the yard and shoot a dog in the head. But you had Bella and Haystack shot in the head with what? A rifle, a pistol, or what?
I wasn't there. I don't know what my husband shot him with.
Well,
I have no idea. Probably a shotgun. I don't know. Let me explain what happened. They had attacked 2 cats.
You're telling me that you had these dogs shot in the head because they got in a fight with a cat and the cat lost?
No. It goes into another level. They went from being separated. I told my employee before I left Texas, keep them dogs away from the other animals. My husband walked in the house. He had him upstairs disobeyed what he was told. His employer told him, had him upstairs in a crate, the metal crate. They busted out and killed 3 animals right in front of Rick.
What do you mean they busted out? Was this a conspiracy or something?
No, they didn't. He didn't have the cage fastened correctly or something.
Well, isn't that the problem of the handlers' malfeasance?
I wasn't there. It was an employee let him out.
Well, aren't you telling me then that the animals were not appropriately separated, that an employee failed to do his job?
Yes.
And therefore the dogs were allowed access to the cats and based on instinct reacted, so you shot him in the head?
No. I have children coming around because of Hero, and I had elderly people. They were a liability. And in
Really? It's interesting because we have statements from people that met those dogs and were around those dogs. 2 women who met these dogs emailed us their thoughts. According to Kelly, Vice President of Animal Rescue Assistance Team in Tennessee, said, quote, I spent 10 hours in a van with these dogs, transporting them to her, both in wire crates. Neither showed the least bit of aggression. We had all the dogs in the van together. Additionally, we do not place aggressive animals with a rescue. They go to a specialized trainer. She entered into a contract with us that specifically stated that the dogs would be returned to us if any problem arose. She breached the contract by killing those 2 dogs.
First of all, one of those dogs was
According to
theirs.
Vicky, former donor, Haystack and Bella were, quote, sweet and loving dogs when my spouse and I met them in October of 2013. If they had been aggressive back then, why would she risk total strangers meeting them, petting and hugging them, if we could have been attacked at any minute?
First of all, they never met the dog. That's a lie.
You think
Number
maybe
2,
you overreacted in shooting the dogs?
I don't think so.
You're not even willing to take responsibility for your own mistakes and just say, yeah, I made a mistake. I overreacted at the moment. I was in Texas. I panicked. You won't even do that, Kitty. It's always somebody else.
No.
It's always somebody else's fault, including the animals.
I got my hands on Bella's contract. Bella is the small dog, where it states that Kitty agreed to turn over the dog if there was a problem. It says, quote, if you must give up this dog, do you agree to contact our group to assist you in rehoming and or surrender it to us? Kitty wrote in her own hand, yes, and then signed the contract.
First of all,
So
I reached out to her.
But you did sign the contract?
Yes, I did.
Because their philosophy is they don't want it to wind up abandoned by the side of the road or put in a kill shelter.
No more than I want to. I thought about taking them to the pound, calling animal control because they were vicious. Then I got to thinking that's mean. It's cruel how they go in there. The scared and I worked
Beats
in
the hell out of eating a bullet.
It's more humane than. Have you ever been in a room when they put an animal down and it doesn't work? I have.
Madeline Bernstein is the president of the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Los Angeles. Madeline, thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do, by the way.
Thanks for having me. I have
What's
one
going on
observation. If you're having trouble making ends meet and you're having trouble feeding yourself and you have 49 cats as well as dogs as well as other animals, but you just said that you won't even place them in homes, even for free, because if people take a free animal, it means they can't afford them. So I'm sort of stuck on the psychology here of holding on to all of them. And then 2, if you're responsible for a mixed collection, it's really important to make sure that the animals are appropriately segregated, that the cage clasps work, and that your staff is trained, and that even if in Virginia it's legal to shoot your own dog,
yes,
it may not be for a variety of reasons, because many of these laws have words like unjustified. They're wiggle words. And so if, in fact, you're breaching a contract to do it, or the clasp broke on the cage and you weren't there, so you don't know if the animal was suffering. You don't know if the shot was one shot and it was a kill shot. You don't know
Yes, I did.
any
My
of
husband
that.
was there. He's the one who did it, so I know.
You didn't know what kind of gun he used. How could you know how they died?
Because he told me.
Well, it is, I don't know. There are concerns. I don't know that all of your concerns are justified, but there's certainly reason for concern here.
Right.
Kitty has 46 cats, 4 horses, a cow, and 5 dogs. So how does she afford to feed these animals and her family? We'll talk about that when we come back. Plus a woman who says these haters of Kitty have it all wrong. We'll be right back. Why did you flip? She says you were a confidant.
He was my biggest confidant.
And all of a sudden, now you're sitting over here.
I started seeing a lot of erratic behavior on her part.
And later, you say people are saying these bad things about you, but you do have a criminal
I do.
history.
Yes, I do.
It does involve fraud.
I wake up anywhere from 4:30 to 7:30, and I get in bed no earlier than midnight, 1 o'clock. My whole life is around the animals, taking care of them. They come first, we come second.
Good morning.
I went without TV and internet for 10 months because I could not afford to take care of my animals. Just to run the ranch, I spend $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and my husband makes about $40,000 to $50,000 a year. We're always in the hole, but I wouldn't change it. I love my life.
So how does she afford her animals? You know, we did some simple math here. Household income, according to Kitty, is $40,000 to $50,000. The average cost to care for the animals, according to the SPCA, just the animals that she has, is $67,515. Again, Kitty's animals are 1 cow, 46 cats, 5 dogs, and 4 horses. So that leaves a deficit of $17,515. So
What do you get about you shouldn't be doing this?
My family helps me the difference. I was doing just fine adopting animals till you guys
Kitty,
came
that's
along.
not true.
Whatever.
On August 8 of this year, you posted, quote, I replaced my old truck this week. And
Yep.
you have a new
I haven't had a pickup to
2015
haul.
truck.
I haven't had vehicle to haul hay in, and my friend gave me the down payment for it.
And in your own words, you claimed that you took in $40,000 worth of donations and that it cost you $75,000 to run the rescue.
And you paid 90% of it.
And you paid 90% of the bill.
Well, maybe my math isn't off, but
You can't tell the public that when you're asking them for donations and say, oh, my math is
In
off.
that same statement, you said that you were private. Even though you collected that $39,000, telling people
and most
you
of it was
weren't.
from you, and you know where it went.
No, $4,000 in cash from me.
And why
$3,200
did you
per
stop
kennel.
giving money? Why did you flip? You
I
were,
was
you were a supporter,
defending
you were
her.
giving her money. She says you were a confidant.
He was my biggest confidant.
And all of a sudden, now you're sitting over here.
Because I started seeing things.
What did you see?
I started seeing a lot of erratic behavior on her part.
Like what?
Cyberbullies were making me erratic.
No.
Yes.
Kitty says one supporter who has stuck it out with her is Cindy. Cindy is not only a donor, but has become a good friend. They have never met in person, actually. Cindy is joining us today as well. Cindy, thank you for being here.
Oh, my God. Hi, Cindy.
So you two have never met, actually.
No.
But
Not yet.
You've been a supporter of hers.
Yes.
What do you think about the complaints that they have leveled against her? Madeline is raising some questions and some concerns. Do you have any concerns?
I think she has learned as she's gone along. I think she's, as with anyone, has made some mistakes, has owned up to them. And I've been listening to the three of you. I'm going to take the high road because I have nothing nice to say.
Okay, you feel like they're assassinating her character?
Absolutely, yes.
Kitty says her haters are consistently posting about her, and she is sick of it. She sent us some examples. Example 1, July 29th. Hey, Cat, no, we won't take it down, smiley face. What you going to do, call the law in after us? Please do. Ann responded with, please do. Have all my papers in order and the media on hold, just waiting for you, Puss.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Yes. How many times has she threatened the high-end law and local law enforcement?
Trying to fight you
the
guys.
FBI.
April 27th, quote, I forgot to add, and you're a piece of she's still a loser. She's lost lots of followers that were going to support her, smiley face. Example 3, April 27th. Well, she should know us better than that to think that blocking us will keep us quiet. She knows we are a ruthless bunch, and she will regret messing with us. Nothing but the truth here, CC. CC stands for cash cow, according to y'all, right?
No.
No, CCL, Crazy Cow Lady.
What is it? Crazy Cow Lady?
That was a nickname that a friend of hers gave her.
Do you need to be going on there and daring and calling yourself ruthless? And I mean, what?
There are many admins on that page.
Come on.
Yeah, there's
From the Coin 6 Newsroom.
The military is a big thing to me. My husband served, my son gave his life for this country. A hero's a military person, and that's what I want to use him for, is wounded warriors.
Robert says he caught her in a big lie, claiming her family has a connection with the military. What do you mean, Robert?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
In that video, she claimed her son was killed in the military.
My stepson.
It doesn't say that.
Oh, I can't claim him as my son? You tell me anybody out here that has a stepson and they say, oh, my stepson, they say my son.
It does
Please.
not say anything about stepson.
It doesn't matter.
And
He was my stepson.
When you were questioned about it, you threw a fit.
Yeah, I threw a fit.
So you do have a stepson?
Yes, I have a stepson.
What's his name?
None of your business.
None of my
so
business.
that you can sit there and harass him,
Stolen
put him
valor.
through 3
I
years
cannot
what I've been
Stolen
through.
valor.
You got whatever, lady.
But your stepson lost his life?
Yes, he did. In Iraq.
Iraq. Well, Robert reached out to someone he says is close to Kitty to see if what she was saying regarding a son in the military was true. And here's their exchange, Robert's exchange with a family member. Robert, she is claiming to have a son killed in Iraq. What was his name so I can look it up and shut the hater pages up? Response, oh my God, I can't believe her. I don't think so. I would have heard about it. Robert, so no military son. How about the ex-husband's stepson? Response, all the kids are alive.
No, they're not.
The ex had no kids. He had testicular cancer and couldn't have kids.
That's my husband now.
What we're talking about is whether or not you are representing yourself in an accurate way, and therefore people that look at how you represent yourself on the internet can make an informed decision based on accurate representations about whether they want to support your work in helping and rescuing animals. And you know, you've got 50 cats. Have they all been spayed and neutered?
There's an overpopulation of animals.
I know that.
You don't breed. You don't
It's
take
my
in a rescue
horse.
She was brought in as a rescue.
She was a
By
rescue.
your own words. And you bred her.
And I have been feeding that horse for 6 years.
On donations.
Taking in donations for her.
I adopted her this year, this past year.
After you bred her.
Yeah, when I bred her.
You were taking in donations.
No,
the
I
whole
wasn't.
time.
I haven't taken donations
Kitty,
since
you were asking for
2013.
donations to feed her Marin Foal. In your own words, we need Marin Foal food for the rescues.
Let's go to the 25 cats you just brought in.
Right.
Why are you not posting them on your page?
They are. They're in their photos.
The day you originally got them, or the day after. They're
Because
not
I'm a
mentioned.
one-man show taking care of 50 animals in a ranch.
It
How
takes
am I
a
supposed to
second
do
to
it?
share.
I do the administrative, the paying of the bills, going and hauling hay, cleaning my house. I have a husband. I'm one person.
If it's that overwhelming for you, you should cut back.
I'm one person, and I'm
just
handling it.
saying.
I'm handling it.
You're not
until you
handling
guys
it.
came along.
Did you consider shooting Hero in the head?
Oh, I called. It was a Saturday or a Sunday. I can't remember.
Did you call the sheriff
I
and
called
ask
the
him
sheriff.
to come out and shoot the animal
I
in the
asked
head?
him to come down and euthanize him because there was no vet available. I could not leave this cow with no prosthetics in a pouring down rain, and I couldn't get his legs back on him. And the sheriff, who happens to know me personally, said, Kitty, we're not going to kill him. I will help you.
Well, Kitty, you go to all of this trouble and get these prosthetics made, and then he gets stuck in the rain. And
No, he didn't get stuck in the rain. Hero can get...
And you're going to shoot him in the head?
Okay, Dr. Phil, you tell me, what would you do? You've called the vet. You called animal control, and they don't deal with this kind of stuff. And I can't get a hold of a doctor for 4.5 hours. It's pouring down rain, it's lightning, and I'm outside. And I tried for 4 hours before that to try to get him in his legs. He's 1,300 pounds.
Put a shelter over him until.
And I had a tarp over him, and it was blowing rain.
I have animals too, and I know what I would go through to not shoot them in the head.
And that was the last resort.
Maybe you're in over your head.
No, I'm not. I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out, Dr. Phil, for 3 years of having people critique everything I do.
You say people are saying these bad things about you, but, you know, we all have to live with our choices, and you do have a criminal history.
Yes, I do.
And your criminal history does involve fraud, right?
It did at one time.
I want to give Kitty an opportunity to clear that up right after the break.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I have dreams about mass killings.
Could her son...
The terrorists seem like heroes to him.
...take innocent lives?
He claims that he wants to take lives so people will feel his pain.
Once you kill that first person, the rest would not be hard at all.
Authorities arrest him and stop the interview.
The system is walking all over him. This is what will push my son over.
All new Dr. Phil. That's tomorrow.
Now, I said, you say people are calling you all these names and saying you're a bad person, but you have a spotty history. Mm-hmm. It does involve fraud. Mm-hmm. And you wanted me to point out that you told us this yourself. Mm-hmm. There was no effort to hide this. You said you bounced a few personal checks.
Yes.
And you had to do 8 months in prison.
Yes, I did. Well, I was sentenced to 18 months, and I did 8 months. I got out on good behavior.
14 months, and you did.
Was it 14 months?
Yes,
I knew it was quite.
Months.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I got out on good behavior.
There were other records on file. Maybe you can clear these up or remind us. In 86, possession of personal property. Then in Washington, at 98, unlawful issuance of bank checks, theft. You owed 10 victims $7,500.
Yep.
That was in Washington.
Yep.
Then state of Virginia, 91, you got drugs by fraud.
Yep, I was a drug addict. That's why I was in all this trouble.
Then in South Carolina, 92, fraudulent checks. That was a misdemeanor.
Yep.
Okay. And then according to the state of Missouri in 1995, you're passing bad checks again. Yep. That was a felony.
Yep.
So
how do we lie when we say you're a fraud?
Hold on. I was a drug addict at that time, Dr. Phil. These
you
were
make bad choices.
I made bad choices.
Right?
Absolutely. I made bad choices. I hurt my friends. I hurt my family. And most of all, I hurt myself and my children.
And this could be a problem in getting approved as a 501.
I don't know. I
do.
I don't know.
Being a convicted felon, they're a little reluctant to give you a license to go collect funds.
Absolutely. Well, they told us my husband, who has no criminal record, could do it, and I could have nothing to do with it, and we could still get it.
So you did know that it was a problem?
After everything, and I found out that I read my paperwork. It says you're a 501c3. I got all the paperwork from the state of Virginia that registered me. My business was Sela Ranch was registered in Virginia. I did not understand the wording. It says I am. I did not realize that I had to send $850 off to the IRS. I talked to an agent down there. So I put up pending. Of course, I'm wrong at that point. All I've done is I've done everything except for sending the $850 into the IRS. Paid the lawyer. I got everything from the state of Virginia. I've talked to the commissioner. I've been in touch with everything. And I was hold on. I was also missing a permit to solicit donations. When all that paperwork came back from Virginia with all the state stamps, I assumed I had everything from Virginia. I didn't even know that I had to have that till they started in. And when they did, I double-checked. I didn't know all the lingo. And that's where this has just snowballed.
Okay. Now, you've wanted to make that speech since you got here, so I'll let you make it.
Absolutely. This was not intentional.
You've got to scale back. You're not being reasonable, and that's not okay with me. Well, you've shot 2 dogs in the head, and you were going to shoot your cow in the head because it was stuck in the rain. Cows are waterproof.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
We can't do this show without you, our studio audience.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL. I want to focus on the animals here.
Okay.
I want to tell you straight up. You've got to scale back.
And
you're not being reasonable.
That's
You
why
don't
I'm having...
have the manpower or the funds to be handling the animals that you have. And that leads, intentionally or otherwise, to animals winding up being neglected. And that's not okay with me.
I'm not neglecting any of my
Well,
animals.
you've shot 2 dogs in the head, and you were going to shoot your cow in the head because it was stuck in the rain. Cows are waterproof.
It's not...
And it's like you said, you're stressed. I mean,
If you
give
had
yourself,
to deal with this for 3 years, you'd be
Shut
stressed.
us off, Kitty.
what advice would you give to Kitty? Let's assume that her heart's in the right place. Let's assume that she wants to do the right thing.
The first thing I would do is make sure that I wasn't accidentally representing myself as a nonprofit, which means lists on Amazon, lists on other nonprofit sites to collect food and merchandise and donations by putting a simple statement, which is, I love animals, I'm doing the best I can. If you want to help me, that would be great, and not, create this feeling that you're an enterprise that you're not. Because as you say, people get burned all the time on the internet now. They feel cheated all the time when they fall for something emotionally, and we want to protect those really caring for animals. I would reduce your population immediately.
I am on the night.
I would give away the cats and any other animals to people who come to the ranch and say they can care for them until you can get back on your feet.
The problem is nobody's coming up, ma'am.
The problem is then don't you take 25 more? Number 2, I feel the animals are potential victims. I feel we might be in the sweet spot now where if you can reduce your collection and get a handle on what you have, you can avoid a lot of future neglect and problems.
I've never neglected one of my animals.
The consumers are feeling like a victim because they thought that they were giving to a charity, and they're not. There's no charity. There's no IRS filings, no board of directors, no 990. And so it starts to feel like it's a scam. So reduce your collection, put a sign on your Facebook page, thank everyone for their help, and call it a day.
I'm not quitting for one.
Okay, well, there could be a further complication. We'll talk about what Kitty's landlord told us just this morning when we come back. The holidays should be a time of hope and happiness, but for families, children, and the elderly struggling with hunger, it continues to be a time of need. Feeding America is the nation's leading domestic hunger relief organization, feeding 37 million Americans. Every dollar you donate helps provide 9 meals to men, women, and children facing hunger in our country. Visit drphil.com to find out how you can help this holiday season. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
The group says Kitty is claiming she owns her house, but they want her to admit that that's not true. Well, do you own a house?
They call it contract for deed in Virginia. It's like a rent-to-own type deal.
We spoke to the owner of the property. He said she's renting, does not own the property. We asked him if she will buy the property, and he said, she says she is, but we'll see. This morning, the owner said she will be out at the end of the month. Then you're going to have all these animals.
I've already made other arrangements.
if you are a fiduciary for the animals and that you put their interests first,
Always do.
then it would be important that you either have a plan, and if you're in rough water right now, politically or reputationally or whatever, that would say that you need to scale down
Yes.
your work with the animals until you can get in a situation where you have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted so the animals don't fall through the cracks. You just need to scale down.
And I've wanted to, Dr. Phil.
And-
I've wanted
well,
to.
that's great.
And I have an adoption fair next month.
And listen, you guys need to decide what you can and should do that's in the best interest of the animals.
Right.
Because if you poison the well to the point that she can't make adoptions, then you're being very self-righteous and you have lots of things to point to. But if an animal doesn't get adopted because of that, are you really serving the purpose that you want to serve? And I think the answer to that would be no. I want to thank my guest today, and a special thanks to Madeline, the president of the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Los Angeles. And Robin and I would like to make a donation of $10,000 to you guys. Earmarked for spaying and neutering of animals, so it can cover all the animals that $10,000 will cover for doing that. And when that runs out, you know where to find me.
Thank you.
We'd like to do some more. For more information on today's show, log on to drphil.com and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.